Okay, welcome back. So today I'm going to talk about point slope. Now, point slope. Point slope, I'm going to write down the formula. Y minus y1 equals m, and then in parentheses, x minus x1. Now, you're also going to be given a point x comma y. So we're going to make this our coordinate x1, y1. Now, if you're given a question or a problem that's asking you to find or to write in ax plus by equals c form, this is the point slope format. And I'm also giving you m equals 3, which is the slope. So the slope is 3, and it runs through point 42. So what I want us to look at this equation, and the first thing I'm going to do is I want to look at my coordinate. This is my x1, y1. And as you recall, my formula for my point slope is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And all I'm going to do is fill in the information. So this is going to be y minus, I'm going to put in 2 because that is my y1. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it equal to, my m is 3, and now my x minus, my x1 is 4. So I'm not doing anything except filling in this formula, which is y minus y1 equals m, and then parentheses x minus x1. Now we need to put it back into point slope format. So the first thing I would do is we need to bring the x over to the left side. Well, we've got this 3 attached to the parentheses. We're going to use the distributive property. We're going to make that 3 times x, which is 3x. 3 times, well, you can treat that as a negative 4 if you want to. So 3x minus 12. I still have my y minus 2. So I need to have my x and y's on the same side. So my next step is I'm going to subtract my 3y. I'm sorry, 3x, not 3y. And I get negative 3x. My y is positive. Minus 2 equals negative 12. And then finally, what I need to do is I need to go ahead and add my 2 to both sides. So it's going to be negative 3x plus y equals, now negative 12 plus 2 gives me a negative 10. And notice, this is an AX plus BY equals C format. This is my answer. So next I want you to do is, if you want to pause this, I want to show us a second example, give you some time, and then you can unpause it and see how I work it out. Okay, so the key to this is I'm still putting this AX plus BY equals C format. I'm giving my slope as 1/2, and it goes through point negative 3, 0. So the negative 3, 0 is my x1, y1. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my given information into my y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Y minus, okay, in this case, my y1 is 0, and it equals, my m is 1/2, x minus. Now this is where, if we're in a rush, we're going to make a mistake. We're subtracting a negative. So I'm going to put that -3 in parentheses. And now I'm going to begin to work out this problem. So my y minus 0 just turns out to be a y. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to distribute my 1/2 times x, which gives me 1/2 x. Then I'm going to distribute the 1/2 to the negative. Now, be careful on this one. 2 negatives makes this a positive now. So it's a positive 3. So it's 1/2 times 3, which gives me a plus 3/2. We're almost finished. Last step, what I need to do is put my x, which in this case is my negative 1/2 x, with my y. So I'm going to subtract 1/2 x on both sides. And my final answer is going to be negative 1/2 x. Y is positive, so plus y equals the 3/2. Finally, still going to put in this format. My slope is 4/5. It runs through now 0.0 -5. First of all, I'm going to say, okay, x1 is 0, y1 is -5. I'm going to go to my equation. My y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Now we'll just fill in the blanks. Y minus, my y1 is a -5, so I'm going to put in parentheses -5. My slope is 4/5. And my x minus, my x1 is 0, so I'm going to put 0, so minus 0. 2 negatives right here, so when I have y minus a negative, it makes it a positive. I can distribute my 4/5 to both my x and my 0. So in this case, 4/5 times x is just 4/5 x. 4/5 times 0, or a -0, is 0. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this out. If you want to, you can put a -0 if you want to have the space. So what I'm going to do is subtract 4/5 x on both sides. I get negative 4/5 x, y is positive, plus y, plus 5 equals 0. Negative 0 is the same thing as 0. And my final piece of this puzzle is I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. In my final equation that's in point slope format is negative 4/5 x plus y equals a -5. So this concludes my point slope. Be looking at, for my next videos, are parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Thank you very much for listening.